It is like 8 o'clock, and welcome to another reading vlog. Do I look like hot garbage? You're right, I do, because last night I had margaritas with dinner, and it's been a long time since I've had any sort of alcohol, so here we are trying to caffeinate, trying not to die. So, the agenda for this weekend, well, obviously reading, but I've also got a lot of like gardening things, spring things, so we'll just go through that real quick. The biggest thing that is on my to-do list this weekend is reading Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. Guys, if you do not remember, I read Skyward by Brandon Sanderson towards the end of last year for a book club, or it was either the end of last year or the beginning of this year before all this hot mess happened. And Skyward was probably one of my favorite books of the last couple months, probably gonna be one of my favorite books of all time. Just, it was action-packed, it was amazing. Definitely check it out. So that turned me on to other Brandon Sanderson books. This is only my second Brandon Sanderson book since Skyward. And you know, I was really intrigued because when we did the Skyward for book club, we also got a history of Brandon Sanderson. We got a couple cool facts, and he just sounds like a guy that I wanna be into in terms of reading. Since I'm such a just like heavy fantasy reader, I was so swept away by Skyward. I don't normally like science fiction, and Skyward does take place in space. And I was like, if he can make me like science fiction, I'm sure his fantasy stuff is gonna be the shit. And you know what? I actually, over the week, so I don't get a lot of time to, let me move this, because yeah, there. I don't get a lot of time to read during the week. So I've only just broken the first 100 pages. I'm on page 112. And can I just tell you, he really knows how to just drop you into some action, into a plot, into a world, and then just sort of like builds from there. And I really freaking appreciate it. So if you don't know what Mistborn is or what it's about, it is about people in this final empire that has been ruled by someone named the Lord Ruler for the last couple thousand of years. It's either 1,000 years or a couple thousands of years. And he sort of kept everyone under this like steel thumb of oppression. And now people called the Mistborn and some like more like lowly thief kind of people are going to plan a rebellion and overthrow the Lord Ruler. And so there's a very interesting magic system called allomancy in this book, and what that means is that they basically use metals to sort of magic themselves around. I don't fully understand it. In some instances, they're ingesting little bits of metal to sort of burn within their body so that they can make things happen. Or if metal exists out in the world, they're using it to sort of like push and pull themselves towards it, influence emotions. It's so interesting, and I'm really into it. I'm hoping to get, it's a 40 page book, and I'm hoping to get at least halfway through this weekend, if not more. It's going well, guys, and my nerdy ass self is into it. So we're gonna walk the dogs, and I've got some house chores, and I would like to plant some stuff outside today, but once I get around to all that, there's definitely going to be a lot of reading. Or maybe I'll read before all the garden chores, because I just want to be lazy today because I'm a little hungover, because I'm a weenie. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I have not read a whole bunch more since I last left you of Mistborn, but I did want to check in really quickly. I've probably read like 2 or 3 pages, and I just wanted to say that Brandon Sanderson has a very interesting skill of writing action scenes. It really is like watching a movie while you're reading. I don't know. I just read a scene where one of the main characters breaks into a house of a nobleman to steal something, and he's using his allomancy, his metal magic, to just sort of like get through the house, get through all these guards, and steal the safe that he's looking for. And it is just the most exciting bit of reading that I've had in a while. And I remember this was specifically a thing that drew me to Skyward as I was reading it. The action scenes, the fight scenes in Skyward were phenomenal. And true to form, Brandon Sanderson does not fail to please on the action scenes. So I'm really excited to get into this. But I also did want to take a quick break to show you that, excuse me, I got dressed today. I'm tired of wearing sweatpants. I mean, I'm not really, but I'm tired of feeling like I'm always in sweatpants is what I'm getting at. So I have this beautiful dress, and it's long. I can't, okay. And it is entirely made out of linen, and I will include in the description below if you're interested in getting a dress like this. This is not sponsored or anything. I just absolutely love this dress because it's cool when it's warm out, and it's warm when it's a little cooler out because it's made out of linen, and it is so comfortable. It is loose, but like, I don't know, it's form-fitting too, and it's just so cheery on this early spring day. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to more reading in my pretty dress, and I'll see you in a bit. Hello, my friends. So quick update coming to ya. Let me grab my book. So I have probably read now about 50 pages or there. I've been going very slowly at it. I tried to take a little nap, that sort of thing. And can I just say, I'm just really loving it. I'm hoping to get past the 200 page mark by this evening, which should be relatively easy. I'm on page 170 right now, and I'm really loving just digging deeper into this world of the Mistborn and the magic system. I am just so amazed at Brandon Sanderson, but this is not actually why I came to update you. I just got a lovely little package. So I ordered some bulbs, flower bulbs, dahlia bulbs to be precise, from a local company that, well, sort of local, from Asheville, because I'm in North Carolina, but I don't live in Asheville. Asheville is still in North Carolina, and the company is called Eden Brothers, and they are just known for flowers and seeds and stuff like that. So looks like they included a little seed mix, an annual mix, marigolds, cosmos, cornflowers, zinnias. So I guess I'll just sprinkle these about in my garden. But I've got a little pamphlet here, all you need to know about bulbs. So this should be interesting. Now, the bulbs are not very exciting looking, but I've got a whole box of them. I don't even know how to show you this because it just looks like clumps of dirt. But dahlia, I don't think technically you can say dahlias are bulbs. I think technically they're tubers. So I've got, oh, here's a packet that I'm trying to be delicate. So there they are, if you can see. They're like, they look like little, I don't know, potatoes or something. But because I read recently that once you get your package, you ought to go ahead and plant them. I'm probably gonna go ahead and take a break from reading, do some planting in my front yard, and I'll probably take you with me unless it gets too strenuous. We'll see. So I will be right back, and I will take a look at what I'm supposed to do with these bulbs right now, or these tubers, and then maybe I'll take you along on my gardening journey. I've never put you out here, I guess. This is actually my back porch, patio or whatever, but it's very messy. I'm not going to show you around, and half the like screening is like falling down. Anyway, my life is a mess. I'm not even in shot, guys. What's wrong with me? Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so I am about to start my gardening adventures. I changed dresses because that one was longer sleeved. It was a little thicker material, so I knew I'd be getting in the dirt, and it's really warm right now. It's probably close to 70 degrees, and I am in direct sunlight. So let me show you what I've got. So I've got my dahlia bulbs all in here, and then I've got a bunch of seeds that I'm gonna just go ahead and sow directly into the ground, and then I have this really cool Hori tool. that is scary looking, but it really is just for like digging into the ground, weeding, that sort of thing. And then these are all my plants that need to get used to being in the outside sun, because if you don't harden, that's the term, harden your little plants, they will not acclimate correctly to the harsh UV rays of the sun. So it's just important. Like, these little peppers need more sun than that. But yeah, so that's what's happening right now. And I've got my whole front yard there that is waiting to be planted. Yeah. Oh, one more thing. I've got my little headphones on here, and while I will be planting, I will be listening to Stephen King's It on audiobook. I'm going to be listening to this audiobook for a while, for probably quite a few vlogs. So just strap in, get ready for that, because it's a 44-hour audiobook. That's for dang sure. Okay, time to get planting. Hello, my loves. So I am back inside now. I have planted about half the things that I want to be planting for the season. Tomorrow I will probably plant the rest of the things. I'm gonna do, so we're social distancing right now, but I have to drop off some things to my parents' house. So what I'm gonna do is just so I should collect my thoughts first. I planted half the dahlias that I got from the Eden brothers. The other half I will be swapping with my mother, who has different dahlia bulbs. So I'm going to their house, gonna drop it off on their porch, and then my mother will also be giving me dahlia bulbs and rose bushes for that matter. So that's very exciting. Not only did I plant all my dahlia bulbs that I want to plant today, but I planted a bunch of seeds, and I would just take you on a quick tour. Are you even? Who knows? I would take you on just a quick tour, but it's just not, it'll just look like wet earth, really. So I'll just show you the seeds that I planted. So I did plant forget-me-nots, and then I planted, just spilling seeds. Planted some lupines, very pretty. Some hollyhocks. Now some of these probably won't bloom until next year, and that's just sort of the risk you take with a garden. It's a long-term sort of deal. And then I planted these cosmos. Cosmos come in a lot of different colors, so this is an orange and red variety. And then I planted aster. And then I planted primrose, very pretty. And then I planted some maiden pinks. I'm gonna try and, yep, there, see, focus. And then I planted these color of cosmos. So white, pink, and like magenta. Did I even plant these? I don't know. I don't think I actually, never mind, I'm not gonna show you that because I didn't plant that. And I planted some English daisies. Focus. There you go, some English daisies. And I planted some black-eyed Susans. There, some black-eyed Susans. And then, well, that's it for today. If you can't tell by my scattered speech, I'm a little tired, probably a little overheated because I didn't drink water in those 3 hours that I was out there. But tomorrow there will be more planting. I think I'm gonna plant some potatoes and see how that goes. They're just, I don't even have seed potatoes. I have just your regular counter potatoes that have sprouted because they've sat on my counter for so long. So we'll see how those go. They probably won't do anything, just a disclaimer. when you plant like normal grocery store potatoes, they don't have a very good growth rate because most potatoes are sprayed on the outside to keep them from growing. So that they don't just sprout about when you're trying to cook potatoes. Anyway, I have not read Mistborn, obviously, but I did end up listening to quite a bit of Stephen King's It, and it is phenomenal, continues to be phenomenal. We're still just learning about the kids, what makes them tick, and we're starting to sort of unfold the relationship between all the kids. They've just now met each other. They haven't even met Beverly Marsh, the only girl in the group of the kids in It. And if you're not familiar with the premise of It, it is basically just about a bunch of kids that sort of defeat this evil in this town, and then they're called back in their later years to defeat it for good. So yeah, we're just still sort of determining, or rather discovering the friendship. Why am I out of focus? We're still discovering the friendship between them, and you know what went on before they even really understood what they were fighting. So it's been really interesting because I've seen this movie 1,000,001 times, but reading it, especially via audiobook, is just a whole different experience. Anyway, we've got to walk the dogs, and then I'm going to read more Mistborn later, and I will update you then. See ya. Hello, my loves. It is Sunday, and surprise, surprise, I have not done a whole lot of reading. Actually, I've done just a teensy bit, probably about 15, 20 pages of Mistborn. I'm in my car, yes, but still practicing social distancing. Don't at me. I've got to drop off the bulbs, the rest of the dahlia bulbs that I got in my package yesterday at my parents' house. So I'm gonna drop it off on the porch with a couple other goodies for them. And also, they're gonna give me some rose cuttings for my own rose bushes and some Filipino desserts. So I'll share that with you later, but again, all social distancing. I have not seen my parents in a very long time, it feels like. I have been making the same sacrifices that everyone else has been making, so yeah, I just wanna make that clear. But while I'm driving, I will probably go ahead and listen to more of Stephen King's It. And I'm very excited because normally I listen to my audiobooks on my drive to work, but there has been no driving to work. Everything has been work from home. So my audiobook reading has been really slacking. Okay, I'm gonna go, but I'll check in with you in a little bit. Bye. Hello friends, so I am back from picking up the plants from my mother's house, and I am just gonna give you a quick show of what I've got. I'm turning you around. So what we've really got here, let me see if I can get, yeah. We've got rose cuttings that are just so, I have about 3 of these pots, and these are all going to be knockout roses. There's 1, 2, 3, and each of them have at least 2 in them. This alone has 4. I think this has 2 and this has 2. So these will be peach colored. They'll be rather beautiful. And then in here, I've got a bunch of dahlias and a couple other flowers in here that my mother got me. They're all the bulbs. So I'm gonna go ahead and plant these while it's still nice out. And let me turn you around. And what's gonna happen is I'm gonna listen to more of Stephen King's It on my audiobook. And then hopefully I'll actually get to read more of Mistborn later and update you then. Bye. Good morning, everyone. So yesterday I was a failure of a booktuber. I did not film any update for you, and I didn't read barely anything else. I probably read a page. I was so tired. Basically, I ate dinner after planting everything, and then I proceeded to just give in to passing out on the couch while having some mindless TV on. So it is now Monday, and I figured I'd extend the vlog a little bit because I will read later, but I did also never get to show you all the things that I planted. So, you know, I wanted to include my gardening hobby in this vlog, and really I showed you nothing. So let me take you around. So here are some sprouts that I still have to like harden, get them used to the outside world, the UV rays. So they're just sitting there. We've got a bunch of things, vegetables, herbs, flowers, etc. now here are the roses that my mother gave me, and I planted them. There is 6 in this bit. So these are all going to eventually have peach colored roses. So that'll be really beautiful. I'm really excited. Thanks, Mom. So just to give you another tour, this is a bed of radishes, and then this is going to eventually be heads of lettuce. They're still growing a bit slowly right now because it's still cold. It's not quite warm enough for them to just like get busy with the growing. And then over here I've got some tomato plants. I'm not going to show you them because they're really sad. And then so here under these cages are sunflowers, and I've got a variety. I've got some mammoth sunflowers, some fiery red sunflowers. I don't know what they're all called, but I just sort of like planted a variety. Now this area in front of the sunflower cages, this all are dahlias and wildflowers. So I've got about 10 different types of dahlias. And then yesterday I also planted sort of a border of wildflowers. I don't know if anything will happen with them because I've got a lot of squirrels. I've got my bird feeder there, and they just like to hang out there. So this is also the rest of the roses my mother gave to me. So there's 2 there. And then in this bed, I've got a bunch of perennials, so they'll come back every year. Seeds planted. Got some hollyhock, some lupine, I forget what else. And then I've got here some black-eyed Susan, some English daisies, some maiden pinks. I've got some primroses. I forget what else is in here, but this area, these like darkened areas are all going to be flowers. Yeah, so all flowers. Very excited. I wanted to create sort of like, I don't know, a little flower oasis. And over here is my little willow tree that'll eventually become a tree, but he's still a bush right now. And so just to complete this tour, I've got a peach tree right here. Now there is like 2 or 3 peaches on it, but because I got this peach at the beginning of the year from Lowe's, because I don't know why any peach tree is blooming in like February or March, but a lot of the flowers fell off, so there won't be too many peaches. They didn't get to complete their flowering stage, I think, because there was a frost. And here is my maple tree that I bought a year ago, and it didn't do so well, didn't do so hot when I first planted it, but now it's gorgeous. Like, look at these giant like leaves. They're so beautiful. And then the last thing here, well, not quite the last thing, this is my little fig tree. So cute, right? This is a celestial fig tree, so it'll be a purple fig. Okay, we'll go over here. Now, a lot of this bed is empty still, so there's a lot to be planted here. I do have plans, I drew it all up, but right now I've got some carrots. Look how cute they are. They're really going. I had to thin some, which means I had to, like, you know, basically destroy a couple to create a good amount of space, and it felt really sad to kill them. And then yesterday I planted some potatoes. Now, I just used grocery store potatoes and they were starting to sprout, so we'll see if anything happens. And then I also transplanted some of my rosemary. We'll see if they survive. It was kind of a rough transplant because I'm an asshole towards little plants. This is another one right here, rosemary. And then in here, this little line, and you can see my little marker there. This is gonna be chamomile, so we'll see how that goes. I transplanted some of my chamomile sprouts, but they weren't doing so hot to begin with. This one seems to be bouncing back a little, I don't know. But this one, honestly, looks a little dead. So we'll see if that goes. This one looks better. This one looks a little better. But if you can see the divot here, maybe not, but I planted a bunch of chamomile sprouts there. They grow very easily, but really they're so very delicate until they like create a solid root structure, which is why, poor you. So we'll see. We'll see if things happen. They managed to survive the night. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'll have a patch of chamomile, make some tea in early summer, late summer. Who knows? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Okay? Okay. So that is my quick garden tour. I'm very excited. I have a lot to do still because I have so many squirrels, because I refuse to give up my bird feeder. I'm gonna have to put cages over everything just so to ensure that they don't dig in it. And even then, it's not a guarantee because they're rather clever. And then I also have like lovebirds or turtle doves or some sort of like pigeon looking like bird that just sort of like walks around on the floor of my front yard, on the ground. Why am I saying floor? And they sort of pick up the seeds that have been dropped on the ground, and they're very wonderful. They're very cute. They make little cooing noises. But they do sort of walk around in my flower beds, and I would like things to grow there, so I just need them to stop stomping around their little feet in my flower beds. Anyway, I've got a lot to do, and who knows what will happen. It's always a toss-up growing things to see if anything will actually grow. For example, this is a lonely carrot sprout. This whole row was supposed to be carrots, but I'm an asshole and just sort of forgot to take care of it because I had that other carrot sprout bed there. I'm sure you can't see that, but it's over there. So this is the one lonely carrot that made it out of all of them because I decided to play God and then got lazy about it. Anyway, I've got a lot to sort of water this morning. Today is a watering day. So I better get to that. I have a lot of work to do just in general and reading later. So I will check in with you then. Bye. Hello, my loves. It is Tuesday around noon, and I'm just getting on my lunch break, so I thought I would come back to you and close out this reading vlog. So it did sort of extend a little bit further than the weekend, but that's okay. I have just reached page 326 of Mistborn. And we're at there's different like parts. Let me get to a page. Yeah, so I am just at part 3. And you know what? Mistborn is very interesting because it is probably one of the it's a high fantasy, and I think it's in the adult. I don't think you could classify it as YA, even though the main character, Vin, is younger, perhaps in her teenage years, but I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I don't know if you could consider Mistborn YA. Okay, actually, I just looked it up. So via the internet, there seems to be a divide. It looks like it is technically YA because the main character is YA. There are some people saying out there that it's masquerading as high fantasy, but I don't know why. Just because a main character is technically in the young adult character or category, why it wouldn't be considered high fantasy. So it's been a while since I've read high fantasy, truly high fantasy. There's a lot of like mid-level fantasy that's out there in the YA category. A lot of what I feel like Mistborn is adult high fantasy, sort of masquerading as YA, if that makes any sense. So it's sort of the opposite of what everyone's saying out there. And one of the reasons I say that is because the world building is so intentional that there was a portion of what I was reading around the page 220 to 260 mark that I felt it was starting to drag a little. And I finally sort of pushed through that hill and made it to the top of where, you know, things are really starting to pick up again. So in the beginning, it was straight action, and a lot of it was talking about the heist and what's to come, etc. And then there was a middle part where it really felt like there was so much setup being done that I was getting just as antsy as the main character Vin was, and just waiting and preparing for the heist to start, you know, coming into action, really. So I'm gonna put this down. But now it's at a point, now that we're at the past the 300 page mark, that I just, I'm seeing the sort of fruits of my labor, so to speak, because I couldn't say that Mistborn is boring. It's not at all, but there was a couple pages where it sort of was, and I was like, it has to get better, and it is. And I'm starting to feel like the heist is really going to happen, but now I'm also learning parts of this world that I can understand why this became a trilogy, and they're big books too. I think they're all over 500 pages, because there's a lot of this world to fill out, a lot of lore to fill out that goes along with these stories, etc. So I think my former thoughts on Brandon Sanderson still stands. He's very masterful. I would say this is very different from Skyward in the sense that there is so much world building to be done that I would say that you'd have to be a little patient through some parts. I watched a series by Piera Ford. She's a booktuber. She also played in the YouTube produced version of Nevernight. She was saying that there are different sort of levels to fantasy. There's like novice fantasy read books, there's intermediate, and then there's like advanced fantasy. And I would say that this is somewhere in between novice and intermediate, just because you do have to be patient through the world building. But you know, that's not an issue to me as long as things are moving. Also, what I will say is that Brandon Sanderson is still very good at moving a plot and then really digging deep to develop these characters. So I have a lot to go. I'm only on page 326, and there's so much more to this book because it's 541 pages, but I'm confident that I should be able to finish it before this week ends, and I will tell you by next weekend's vlog what I thought, and then we'll see what other books I'll start. Anyways, that was a very long rant. I'm sorry I've been talking to you for like ages now. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm really enjoying getting back into reading, getting back into my sort of fantasy reading habits. And Mistborn is doing so many wonderful things in the sense that like it's really sort of training my mind back into that high fantasy world building sort of road that I want to be on because I love high fantasy. All right, guys, let me know down in the comments down below how you're doing during this quarantine, what you're reading, etc. And hit that notification bell, subscribe so you always know when I've got good things coming to you. Bye, y'all.